Okay, I got my shift drum fresh out of the freezer. Hopefully that bearing shrunk up a little bit so it'll fit in there nicer. I'm just gonna set it in place and tap it in with a hammer. There. That's its home right there. I was having trouble getting the shift drum in there as it fits in those holes in the case better one way. So if you line it up like this with the neutral dentant up like that, that's the best way to pound it in there. Okay, I think if I was to install this shift drum again, I'd do it before all this shift mechanism stuff and other shafts that stick through, so you can sit on the table and pound it in there a little better. But I'm going to put my shift drum bearing retainer in there, and then I'll put some Loctite on these bolts, throw them in there, and torque those down to the standard for the 6mm fasteners, which is 69 inch-pounds. Alright, I have my retainer in there, and those bolts are torqued down, so that's good to go. Okay, the next thing I'm going to try and do is put this gear position lever in place. I'm going to do that after I have this shift drum in. That didn't work too bad. And I'll torque that up to 69 inch-pounds. Okay, I'm going to put the shift mechanism cover on. I got a new seal. I'm going to place the two knock pins in their spots. One goes right there, and one goes right there. Tap them into place. Set my new gasket on there. Cover. Then I got my template, and I can pull my bolts out and put them where they need to go. And the manual doesn't say anything about Loctite on these ones. Yep. So I'm going to tighten all these up to 69 inch-pounds. I'm going to keep this one loose because it has to clamp down the stator wires later on. Okay, I'm going to install the transmission. I'm going to start with the output shaft assembly and the left shift fork, and the number on the shift fork will be facing down with my left case sitting on its side. So slide that guy into its bearing until it seats. Okay, so I have my output shaft and my left shift fork installed. Now I'm going to put the bottom portion of the input shaft in. It's got two washers that sit right there. I'll just hold those while I set it on top of its needle bearing seat. It should line up pretty good. And then I'll stick the top shift fork lever into the output shaft spot. Making sure it engages in the shift drum. And then I'll put the rest of the input shaft down onto the portion that's already there. Okay, now that I have this in what I think is neutral, I think I can get this shift rod down in here. There. And should be able to hold this shaft and spin this. That looks like neutral to me. Try and get a better view of that. Okay, so this guy positioned this way. This ear was at the top. That's where it wanted to be because this can't go down with those balls in there. So this is neutral because I can spin this one and this one doesn't spin. So the transmission's installed. I can just take this gear. There's a little thin washer on there. Slide it on there. And that's the last of the gears. Okay, so I pulled that transmission back out there. I'm just going to lube up some stuff when I put it back in this time. I'm going to lube up this needle bearing for the input shaft and the roller bearing for the output shaft, and just the little seat where the shift rod sits in. And also lube up the grooves in the shift drum. I'm also going to lube up these transmission pieces, especially the parts that rotate, because those are going to be spinning when the motor fires up. And I want to make sure that they're lubricated before the oil can get to them. Alright, now I'm going to put this transmission back together now that I have all my pieces lubed up.